Maximus Hook. I'm here to present my TED Talk analyzation of the TED Talk for argument's sake by Daniel H. Cohen, because I figured out Daniel Cohen is another guy. So what is the worth of arguing? Argument as ... is kind of the first thing he starts to discuss in his TED Talk, which is argument has three different forms in his opinion. Argument as war, an argument as proof, or an argument as performing. So for instance, an argument as war is what you typically will get between two people. I want to be right, I want you to be wrong, I'm going to prove this to you. Argument as performing is typically like a jury, or something of the sort like politicians, for instance. They argue and fight back and forth for entertainment purposes and to get their point out. And then argument as proof tends to be like science, mathematicians, people like that. So the next concept he begins to discuss is the victory versus defeat idea, and that's like what I was talking about. I want to be right, I want you to be wrong. Well, what he goes into leading with that is that prevents collaboration, and that prevents us truly getting something out of arguing or truly learning anything by arguing. You know, if I prove you wrong, well, really, what did I gain? I just stroked my ego. I didn't really do much for anyone or anything. And that's where he begins to explain, I shouldn't say that, he gets to his point of that learning is actually losing. Losing is learning, so back and forth. If you lose an argument, you're the one who actually gained something. You learned something new, an idea was changed, your thought process was changed, or your entire outlook on a situation was altered. So we must adjust our approach to arguing and figure out how we can get more out of arguing. We need to compromise, collaborate, rather than be off-putting and hard-headed. So you might ask, who is this crazy guy that's talking about arguing? Daniel Cohen is actually a professor at Colby College, and he got his PhD at Indiana University in 1983. He has a specialization in argumentation theory. So he tends to observe argumentation and arguments all around constantly in what he teaches and what he does at Colby College. So with a specialization in argumentation theory, I believe he has a pretty good outlook on how to understand and try to adjust our approaches, and that's his goal. So the lens I chose to look at this TED Talk through was the cultural and social lens, and I think this one fits it perfect. Argument as war, like you talked about, learning and collaboration and adjustments that we must make as a culture and socially will teach us and propel us forward to get more out of arguing and to learn and to collaborate and to get these ideas flowing rather than being off-putting and hard-headed. This is my 10-second clip. I'll be honest, I kind of struggled with finding one that was it had some substance to it, but I think this one is the best I could get.
So, how can we find ways to make arguments yield something positive? What we need is new exit strategies for it.
So, quite literally, that's his whole point of the entire TED Talk, is we need new exit strategies for arguing. We need to figure out how to make it not so much of a I want to win, I want you to lose, but of what can I learn, what can we do, how can we approach this different, how can we move forward with a better understanding. And, I almost did this, so yeah. But in conclusion, Daniel Cohen really opened my eyes to a different way to approach arguing, truly. I'm very, I want to be right all the time. So watching this TED Talk kind of opened my eyes and helped me, realize we need to adjust that. It does no good to be hard-headed and close enough.
So,